One of the most important parts about making a 3D project is the planning and ideation, but nobody really talks about that very often. So let me show you how I planned this project. My inspiration to make a cake in the first place came from Cutie Cinderella's cake that she made for Vanilla Mace. So that was what was my initial inspiration, but I also wanted to make it my own. So I brought in a bunch of pictures of cakes that I found on Pinterest, I think. And I've just like circled the different elements that I wanted to bring in. So you can really see how these references have affected the final outcome. Like I've used these pretty heavily in the final outcome. So yeah, you can really tell that the initial inspiration is from this cake, but then I've brought in all of these little elements from other cakes. I also thought a lot about the overall vibe that I wanted to kind of bring to the project. And I thought a lot about the cakes that my mum and my nana would make for me when I was a child. And I feel like they were so whimsical and fun and like fairy-like. I was a real fairy child. So I wanted to make something that I would have loved when I was a kid that had that fairy magic sort of vibe. I also wanted to include the mushrooms as a shout out to this classic mushroom cake, which was really popular in the Women's Weekly. So that was like a classic fairy cake that a lot of kids had, and I was lucky enough to have. I think my nana made it for me. So I wanted to like bring that vibe as something that I would have really liked. So I have a few references of cakes from my own childhood as well, to see if there were things from that I wanted to bring in. I'll also usually do a few sketches. If I have more time and energy, I'll usually do a few sketches with a lot of crazy notes to really figure out what I'm going for. But since this one was a little bit more simple, I just did, I think, like 2 sketches. If you want to make the cake with me, I have a full YouTube tutorial where you can make it with me and I walk you through everything. And I also go over the inspiration in a little bit more depth if that's something that you are interested in.